Hi guys, so we're going to open another one of our Bann Valley fly tying packs here. What have we got? A red ass leggy Peter. So a green Peter is I suppose it's a SEDGE type pattern, although it can be used in mayfly times or just as a general wet fly at any time. So this one here happens to have a sort of an attractor point at the back end, and it also has some legs attached to it. So let's see what we've got in the pack. Sure. We have some cock hackles here. We have some pheasant hen wing, so that's for making the wing of the fly. We have another set of hackles here, so this one's slightly lighter, slightly smaller one, so what I'll do is I'll use those to palmer the fly with. We have some hooks, so this is a size 10 wet fly hook we have. So we have some dubbing, so this is a lime coloured dubbing. We have some hopper legs, so knotted pheasant tail. We have some gold oak tinsel for ribbing the fly with. And then we have a bit of floss for creating the hot spot at the back. So first things first, we're going to take one of these hooks. And get that in the vise. So I'm going to use a black thread for tying this one. And as usual, when you've seen me start it off, you can see me holding the thread up here at an angle. As I wrap on, it slides down, and that creates an even bed of thread. So our floss here, we can choose to do two things here. We can actually tie it in as tail, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie this in as like a butt section, wrap it. So we can either tie it in full thickness as it is, or if you want, or if you chose to tie a smaller fly, it would be just to split the floss. So I think what we'll do is we'll split the floss just to show you. So just take your nail and go through it. Or a dubbing needle or something like that. And thin it down. And then I'm going to tie that in. I'm going to go back to the bend of the hook here. And then trim off this extra stuff. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my hook up because I want to wrap this backwards, back down the bend a little bit. Once I get as far as I want to go, I'll come back up over itself. So that's the reason I wanted to thin the floss down a bit, because otherwise it would end up quite thick and bulky. So we're going to trim that off, set it aside. And the next thing we need to do is to tie in our gold rib. because we're going to palm our hackle, so we need something to hold it in place. What I'll do is I'll set the tinsel across the top of the hook there, but I'm going to throw my thumb over towards you, towards the far side, and take the tinsel over there. Just bind that in. I'm going to wax my thread because we're going to put the dubbin on. So the dubbin is this lime green. Here. I'm just going to sort of thin this out along my tying thread and then start to spin it. Once it starts to spin, I put a turn, catches a couple of fibres here, and that allows me then to tighten the whole thing up. Now, you can see I'm leaving quite a bit at the front here because we have a variety of different bits to go on here. We've got wings, we've got hackles, we've got the legs to go on, so if I get too close up to the eye I'm going to end up quite cramped for room, and the thing will get bulky. So we're going to take one of these smaller hackles here. I'm going to strip off the base of the feather and tie it in across there. I'm going to break that off, but you can cut that off if you're not confident with snapping. Can I find my hackle pliers? So what I'll do is put on one full turn at least at the front there, the next one goes behind, and then palmer down the body. And so when we get to the rear here, take the tinsel from underneath, and I'm catching that hackle in just where it's touching the hot tag, and then taking care not to bind down fibres if we can all help it. Then I'll take that up through my palmer tackle, tie it off at the front, and then we just want to trim off what is left of our hackle there, and trim off our rib. I'm just going to squeeze that hackle so that it lays back in more of a sweep. So next I'm going to tie in the legs. I guess, how many legs do you want to stick on it? I would say probably 4 to 6 is where you want to go. These are actually doubled ones, so I guess I'm just going to put in one on each side. And what I do is I'm going to put the knot back to around about the bend of the hook. I'm going to just set this on this side, and then I'm going to get another one for the far side. Same thing again, take it back until the knot is about level, and then tie over that. Now, if you want, you could add far more of those. Depends on the look you're trying to achieve. And then we're going to put on our wing. So the wing is the pheasant, or the hen pheasant. And what I'm going to try and do here is either we're going to roll it or you're going to match slips from one side to the other. So some hen pheasant feathers are going to be fairly even, and that makes it a lot handier for you whenever you're matching them up. Some are going to be, just depends on which feather it is, some you're going to have to match it left and right. So either we pull out a slip from here and a slip from here, same size, or a little bit like we did with the bronze mallard, is I can pull off a section try and level up the tips and then layer it and then fold it so that you end up with a bunch. I'm just going to stroke that a little bit, and then I'm going to set it up on top here. So I'm actually going to go a bit longer than the hook bend here with this. I just prefer the look of it, especially with the legs there. I think it helps to balance it. So a pinch loop, and then trim the roots of that off. And to finish the fly, we're going to use this other hackle set that we got here. Slightly different colour, hopefully slightly bigger. Okay, so this is a richer brown colour. I'm going to find one of those. Again, I'm going to strip the base of it off, but I am going to double this. I said if you can't double hackles, then just tie it in like this. Tie it in by the base and wrap 2 or 3 turns. I'm going to double these fibres over so it's all one side. It is worth trying to learn how to double hackles. Will make your tying much neater. Then I tie across the stalk. Just going to wax that up because it'll help stop the hackle from slipping forward on me. And then wrap that. Going forward. So the bushier you want the fly, the more wraps you need to put on. So once I get as far as I want, what I'll do is just tie through the stalk, let that hackle fold over. I'll take off my hackle pliers now, and I'm just going to flip that stalk back and wrap over that. No way that's going to pull out now. And then I'm going to crack that off. But I said if you're not confident with that, just cut it off. And then finish the head. All that remains then is to varnish that. So I'm going to use this little applicator, but use a brush, use a needle, use whatever works for you. And that's a red ass leggy Peter from the Bann Valley tie-in packs, as always available from Bann Valley Flies.